Well, I'm glad that kid was laughing because I would have been pissed.
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto, and Game 1 between the Oilers and Canucks goes down tonight. And this series might actually burn the internet down. No, wait, that's Vancouver to their own city when they lose. I'm just kidding, Vancouver. Come on, we can make that joke, right? But these two fan bases are both out for the Stanley Cup and for blood. Seriously, Canucks and Oilers fans are absolutely going at it online right now. Even Boston Pizza is involved in the beef, with one store in BC supporting the Oilers, and the rest of the province losing their damn minds. The thing is, though, I was working with Boston Pizza recently. They are actually rooting for all Canadian teams. But dang, this is so intense. You guys, holy smokes, there are a lot of people from Alberta that moved to BC as well, so there will be a lot of Oilers fans in BC. I don't know, Oilers fans have to have a home somewhere. Anyway, on the ice, the Canucks swept the Oilers all 4 games in the regular season, which should have the Canucks as favorites in the series, right? That's wrong. Vancouver comes into this one as the underdogs, despite their dominance in the regular season, with FanDuel having the Oilers at -295 to win the series. But head coach Rick Tocchet does not mind playing the underdog, saying he loves being doubted and playing that role, and that the players should absolutely embrace it. I guess it's true the regular season doesn't really matter in the playoffs. Just ask Leon Draisaitl, who literally does not care.
I don't know how much more we need to talk about this. We're going in round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. We don't care what happened in the regular season, and I bet you they don't either as much as you think.
Yeah, that's true. Just ask Leaf fans. It doesn't matter. I guess it's fair with the Canucks waiting for Elias Pettersson to get going. And by get going, I mean actually get his first goal of the playoffs. Now, a big talking point in this series is goaltending, with Vancouver rolling with their 3rd string goalie. Although he is looking legit, with a stunning .938 save percentage through his first 3 playoff games. But will the prolonged rest make them rusty or help the Oilers? Whatever the case, this is going to be the most exciting matchup for Canadians. We've been waiting for something like this, so I'm excited that these 2 provinces are gonna go at it. Well, I just don't want any Oilers fans in my DMs getting mad at me again, but the thing is that I used to live in Vancouver for 2 years, so, and I also, I don't know, whatever, I used to live in Vancouver, I just will say that. I chose BC over Alberta in my life, so I guess I'll choose them for my teams too. Now joined by our guy, Craig Buton. Uncle Buton, great to see ya.
Always great to see you, Marissa.
Okay, we gotta start with the Oilers and Canucks. Given the current Canucks goaltending situation, what kind of shot do you give them against an Oilers team averaging 4.4 goals a game these playoffs?
I don't see goaltending or defensive play being the problem for the Vancouver Canucks. They've shown that they can be very adept defensively. They were one of the very best teams defensively over the course of the year. Arthur Silovs went in and played very well versus the Nashville Predators. The biggest concern for the Vancouver Canucks is their lack of offense, the lack of productivity. Against the Nashville Predators, it wasn't so much of a problem because the Nashville Predators don't threaten you offensively like the Edmonton Oilers do. So yes, you're going to have to be tight defensively. Yes, you're going to need good goaltending. But even despite all that going in Vancouver's favor, if they can't find a way to score, they're not going to find a way to win this series.
From what you've seen from Edmonton through 5 games, are they the Cup favorites?
The Edmonton Oilers have been excellent since Chris Knoblauch stepped behind the bench. And through their first 5 games of the playoffs, they've been just as good. They found a way to limit the number of games they have to play in round 1 versus the LA Kings. And they did it in different fashions. They did it with a high-powered offense. They did it with a tight defensive game where they got great goaltending in the shutout in LA. The power play is on fire. So when you look at the Edmonton Oilers, absolutely, they have to be one of the favorites. I don't know if they're the top favorite, but there's no question that they have positioned themselves for a deep run in the playoffs. And certainly if they continue to play at the level that they showed in the first round of the playoffs, they're going to have a great opportunity to achieve what they set out to do, and that is to win the Stanley Cup.
Finally, we got to finish with the Leafs. If you were running the team, what is the one major move you would make this offseason?
The Toronto Maple Leafs, yes. I don't know if there's one major move you want to do in the offseason. There's a number of areas that Brad Treliving is going to have to look at with respect to his team. Number one, in my view, is making sure that you clearly establish that there are going to be no contract discussions with Mitch Marner or John Tavares. That's a lot of money on the books. That doesn't mean at some point over the course of the next calendar year you're not going to engage with them, but there's no reason to start talking to those two players on a contract extension. Make that very clear. Second to that is, what is your situation behind the bench with Sheldon Keefe? Do you believe that he's somebody that can take the regular season success that he has shown and apply it to the playoffs? To this point in time, there's no evidence that he can do that, but that doesn't mean he can't do it. Al Arbour went through some challenges with the Islanders in the late 70s before winning 4 straight Stanley Cups. Not that the Leafs are in that position to be a serious Stanley Cup contender at this point in time. But I don't think it's about one major move in this offseason as much as it is, where do you want to position yourselves to be in the best spot? Cap's going up. It's going to be next summer when you're going to have a lot more cap space with the expiration of Mitch Marner and John Tavares' contracts. That, to me, is where the Leafs have to be thinking to position themselves well. It may be a year where they might have to say, hey, here's what we're going to do with the idea that we're moving forward next summer. It's exactly what the Boston Bruins did when they were up against the cap and they were losing Bergeron, Krejci. Yes, they're in the second round of the playoffs, but it was all done with, this was going to be a year where perhaps they step back a little bit with a chance to move forward in the future. That's where the Leafs find themselves. That's the major moves that I think they're going to have to look at doing. And it might not happen this offseason. You might be setting the table for the major moves next season.
Sadly, Fansai. Thanks for joining us, Greg.
Marissa, I just returned from Finland, so I'm going to give you a Finnish sign-off. Kiitos.
Whoa, that was exotic. Thanks again, Greg. This is absolutely wild and about to get even crazier. Time now for my favorite segment and yours that we love sports today.
Why we love sports today.
Because we're balling from the ocean to the desert, let's give this a watch. I can ball. Oh.
We're in Dubai right now, about to make history.
Come on. Whoa!
Next up, the desert.
That was actually a sick transition. Come on.
Stay locked in.
I'm glad they showed the fails, okay? Because I want to know how many of those actually happened before you got wooden. And joined by our gambling guy, Wes Chang. Great to see you, Wes.
Great to see you, Marissa.
Okay, Wes, what Jalen Brunson is doing is really special. He leads the playoffs in scoring and seems to be getting even better each game. Have the books adjusted enough that we missed the window to profit off of Brunson?
Oh, they've adjusted enough, all right. The number's at 37.5 points right now. That is an insane line. Look, credit to Brunson. He's doing it. Tibbs is running him into the ground. Indy's defense funnels dudes into the mid-range. But watching these games, I don't know how sustainable this is going to be from Brunson. Maybe game 2 it still sticks, but with each passing game in this series, I'd be more and more worried that he can hit the over on the scoring prop. 37.5, just listen to that number. It's a crazy number. I would say might not want to take under right now, but 3 onwards, I'd probably be looking at it as the under if it continues at that number.
All right, Wes, you know this is coming. Give us your best bet for tonight.
Jalen Brunson related. I'm going to take Brunson under 2.5 3-pointers in this game. As I just mentioned, I don't know how long he can keep this up, but the big thing, Indiana's doing one thing very specifically in this matchup. They've done it all year. Their defense is not great, but they're taking away the 3-point line. Jalen Brunson was closer to like 8, 9 3-pointers during the first round. He only took 4 attempts in game 1. They were making a point to take him off the line. So to ask him to hit 3 3-pointers when he's only taking 4 per game, I don't think this is a good spot at all. It was close to even money coming into this taping. Jalen Brunson at that spot, he could score 35, but I don't think he'll get it from the 3-point line.
Okay, one more real quick before you go. FanDuel has the Celtics versus the field bet. Are we crazy or should we not just be hammering the field here?
Look, Boston should be favored. I think that's fair. I think the challenge with this bet is that even if you're betting the field, there's only one team from the West that Boston's going to end up facing. I'd say the big thing, think about all these teams that are competing right now. Just think about the idea of parity. I think Boston should not and does not deserve to be this like far and away, super favorite that is, trumps every other team in the league. I think all of these teams that are competitive right now, They are, by skill level, very comparable. It's just Boston does have the easiest path.
Wes Chang, a pleasure as always.
Thanks, Marissa.
That's all for today's Pacific Pacific. Have a good one.